Thinking about building in Greater Lansing, but you're not sure which builder fits your budget, your timeline, and also your wish list? Well, in this video, I'm going to address the different builders that are within the Greater Lansing, Michigan area, but talk to you about some of the more affordable ones, some of the more community-driven ones that have good amenities, and then also talk about some of the custom ones. Hopefully after this one, you might have a better idea of what you could potentially be looking for in a new construction home. Be sure to stay tuned until the end because I'll give you my little soapbox on what the current condition looks like with new construction homes versus existing home sales. So we're gonna get started with this next episode of Lansing Michigan Life right now. I'm gonna go ahead and dig into this. And if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy Seifert. I am a top producing realtor in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area. I get phone calls from people who are just like you watching this channel all the time. People are looking into new construction, different suburbs in the area. I have a YouTube channel of over 100 videos of anything you wanna know in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area. So definitely check out my library of pros and cons, some new construction builds, because I am gonna be talking about new construction, but actually seeing some tours of homes. I think that would be beneficial for you. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when a new episode of Lansing Michigan Life goes live. And if you like the content of this video, give me a thumbs up so I know that you liked it and I should continue making more of this content. Okay, so I want to get into new construction in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area. So one thing I want to let you know, because I do check out other YouTube channels from major cities. So in the major cities right now, they're offering some huge incentives for people to be able to buy new construction homes. In the Greater Lansing area, what I'm noticing is that we are not providing a ton of incentives for people to be able to buy a new build. I think part of it is lack of inventory in our area and the cost to build. A lot of that has gone up significantly. So as of right now, even though we are not producing a ton of new build homes, maybe in the future, the incentives that I'm about to talk about will change and maybe they will become greater. Again, always subject to change. So that's the disclaimer I want to give to you. I'm shooting this video in November of 2025. Any of these could have maybe changed and you're asking for, hey Troy, what are the newest new construction rates? What are the newest new construction deals that are out there? Anything that you can let me know. So reach out to me anytime for that as well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get into 3 different tiers of builders, okay? 3 different tiers of builders. The first tier that I'm gonna get into right now are the budget-friendly builders. I'd like to call them the budget-friendly builders. So one of the more popular ones in the Greater Lansing area is Allen Edwin Homes. Allen Edwin Homes. So in Greater Lansing, DeWitt is where they are found. They're also found in Eaton Rapids. Some in Grand Ledge. They're starting to finish a neighborhood in Grand Ledge, but for a new build home for about 1,900 square feet, they do provide some pretty affordable options of anywhere from like $350,000 to $400,000, which for a new build isn't bad in our area. So the one thing that they are providing for an incentive right now is your dream home, you can buy down the interest rate at 4.75% on select homes. And also they'll show you from under $1,300 a month, this is what your monthly mortgage payment could be. And they say like, hey, we have a calculator to be able to show that to you. And I do know with Allen Edwin, they are providing a lot of commentary of saying that, hey, it might be actually cheaper for you to buy a new build than to rent in Greater Lansing. Right now, if you want like a 2-bedroom apartment that might be more luxurious, $1,800 to $2,000 a month or something like that. So they're saying, hey, with what they're quoting people, you could actually be in a brand new build home for about the same price, if not a little bit more. That's kind of what they're featuring. Again, they're more of a budget-friendly builder, so that's a huge pro, right? The cons that I tell everybody about Allen Edwin, and I'm not meaning to dog them, but I like to use the phrase, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. Now, some of you on here have different budgets, and that's fine. You can only afford so much. But I do have a video on new construction, if you scroll through my library, about going through an Allen Edwin home. I've gone through them in DeWitt. And they can look nice, but even to their own admission, when I've spoken with the salesperson at Allen Edwin, they are spec homes. And what is a spec home? It's just a builder grade home, a lot of times with just lower end materials, not high quality construction. Some of your big things like roof and windows and furnace, they might break down a whole lot sooner than what it would with like more custom built house builder. So they are getting those homes up relatively quick. Like there are some homes that are available that is a pro with them. Like you could probably get into a home that's already completed or one that could be done in 3 to 4 months. they can move pretty quickly on that, which if you're in a really, really tight timeline, it could work to your benefit. But with the layouts, there's only like few layouts that people use for a 2-story. They have a bi-level home that has been found very affordable for people as well. It can be great for the first-time home buyer that is kind of nervous about buying an existing home and they just want to be able to have something that's newly built, that's theirs, that no one else has owned it. I get it. There are definitely people that are like that. So if you want something that's affordable and something that's brand new, Allen Edwin could definitely be the builder for you. But also if you're picky about materials that are used, they might not be the builder for you. Again, check out my channel. Check out the new construction videos because I do have home tours of many of these builders through here. So when you see something about new construction builds in Greater Lansing, home tours, whatever that might be, check them out. You'll see what I mean, okay? Second one I want to feature that's budget friendly, it's known as Oak Ridge Homes. They used to be known as CBE Homes. They did have some neighborhoods in Diamonddale area, I think also in Holt, they had some neighborhoods, and I think from what I'm seeing, they're not really advertising those neighborhoods anymore. They really are primarily based out of St. John's and Alma, just more north of Lansing. But they do offer affordable options, about the same as Allen Edwin. In fact, one of the latest incentives they had is they'll give you up to $5,000 towards closing costs when you build with them, and that was back in August of 2025. So they are offering incentives towards your closing costs if you do want to use them. Again, with them, it's gonna be the same sort of thing though. It's gonna be, you get what you pay for. And with these budget-friendly builders, what you have to keep in mind, you might be able to buy a brand new home for high 100s to 200 per square foot. So if you had an 1,800 square foot house, you might be able to get it for $350,000 with these, which is very affordable. But again, it's not going to be any upgrades. You're probably not gonna have solid countertops. You are probably gonna have bare bones in bathrooms. The flooring is going to be cheaper as well. So definitely keep that in mind. But those are your two value builders within Greater Lansing. The second tier of builders I want to feature, I know that we're in a small, medium, large culture. We got value. I would say that this is more the mid tier of home builders, just as far as price, but I would also call them more the community focused builders. And the reason I say that is because they are building in neighborhoods. They're building lots of homes in some of these neighborhoods, building high quality homes. They're building more cookie cutter homes. They just have a wide variety depending on the community that you're wanting to build in. So the first one I'm gonna feature is known as Eastbrook Homes. And they have some neighborhoods in DeWitt. They have a neighborhood in Okemos. They're based in Grand Ledge. They do have a neighborhood as well where they're building and have available lots. Pretty much all throughout Greater Lansing, you can find an Eastbrook neighborhood. And they are based out of Grand Rapids. You'd be able to sign with a builder representative because they have builder representatives in our area. You would do your quote, and then you would be able to go to a showroom in Grand Rapids to be able to pick out just the different types of flooring you would want or the different types of hardware you would want. So they do have a showroom in Grand Rapids, but they do have plenty of neighborhoods here. So they are in just some of the more, I would call them the more highly sought after neighborhoods. In Okemos, they're in College Fields. In DeWitt, they started a community known as Thomas Farms. They're in DeWitt in Crowner Farms. That's a very desirable community. They also have some building sites in Grand Ledge at a place called Windtrace. There might be some in Grand Ledge in a neighborhood known as Shadow Glen. So again, like I said, they're all throughout Greater Lansing. So their incentives, they're offering a price lock, an Eastbrook guarantee. So when you get that quote and you lock it in at contract, that base price, it'll never go up even if materials skyrocket. So you are locked in for that for the remainder. And then they do have preferred lenders that they use that offer competitive rates. But there is no dollar amount that they offer right now through Eastbrook, through what we've seen it. But again, that is something that can change. The cons that I've heard with Eastbrook, the big con is that they can take pretty long for you to be able to build a house. It can take a good 8 or 9 months. And so for some of you looking to relocate here, you might want to get into a house in a few months, right? Or maybe get into something that's already built and be able to move in extremely fast. And so the biggest complaint I've heard is that it can take 8 or 9 months. I do have a client that's watched this channel that is under contract with Eastbrook. And they just found a rental for a while, and that's fine, that's okay. That's what they decided to do with it. So there are options that you can do if you're wanting to wait for that new build, but they wanted to buy a brand new build home in DeWitt with Eastbrook. that is great. So they are a good quality builder, but it might take a little bit longer. The second middle grade builder, Mayberry Homes. They're based out of East Lansing, so they are local. They do have their showroom in East Lansing. So they have lots of local communities. They are in a neighborhood known as Copper Creek and Hazlitt. They just finished up a neighborhood in Okemos. They are looking to get more sites in Okemos. They're in Holt. They are, again, kind of like Eastbrook. They are all throughout. The one thing I would say about Mayberry as compared to Eastbrook, I would say like maybe 6, 7, 8 floor plans that they use. They might say they have more, but there's 6, 7, or 8 of them that a majority of people use. Mayberry has a more cookie cutter sort of layout floor plan that you can use that might be the same floor plan for for a neighborhood. If homes are built close together, you might have 2, 3, 4 floor plans, but they also have a luxury look and floor plan as well in some of these higher end neighborhoods. So they have actually diversified themselves to actually compete with some of the custom builders. And I tell you, like the outside of the homes, they look pretty great. I mean, when you look at Mayberry, just the homes that they build to be able to show off to people, it's almost like you would call it like a show home where they have everything ready with higher end materials. It's perfectly staged. You look in there and you go, they build a really great product. The con, I would say they're really not offering anything for incentives. I'm not seeing anything. So when you're looking at Mayberry, and I've been through a Mayberry presentation with a salesperson there, and they will say like, there really is no negotiating power that you have with them. I mean, you go in, you get the house, it is what it is. So you could see that as a con because you're really not gonna have any wiggle room. The price is what it is. The next middle grade tier home, I'm placing Giguere Homes in there. Now, what I found in Greater Lansing is that there were a lot of custom home builders. One of them was Giguere, another one was Schroeder. They built these beautiful, luxurious custom homes in White Hills. So like when you go through the luxurious neighborhoods in East Lansing, in Okemos, they were built by people like Giguere, by people like Schroeder Homes. And then what happened is when there was the huge housing boom of people looking to purchase homes, they bought all this land to be able to develop neighborhoods. And so they were able to make more homes, but they did become a little bit more cookie cutter. They weren't as custom. But I will say that for Giguere, he's a very, very, very desired builder when it comes to the neighborhood builders. That's who people want to use. He has decent floor plans, uses a lot more vaulted ceilings in his floor plans, just builds a more custom product than they would with Mayberry or Eastbrook. The one thing I would say that's a con with Giguere, their lots right now, like in Okemos, they're offering like 3, 4, 5 lots in Okemos in a neighborhood called the Sanctuary. They're $200,000 just for the lot. So you are gonna get a more premium price for it because they're asking $800,000 for a new home build. And I said it earlier, you get what you pay for, right? I talked about Allen Edwin. Now you're starting to get into a more luxurious product. You're gonna spend more money because there's less supply for building new homes in Okemos. They are, they're basically charging a premium charge for an Okemos lot. I mean, $200,000 for maybe like 1/3 of an acre lot. It's crazy to me. And again, like maybe it'll sell because there's just not gonna be any other place in Okemos for people to be able to build. And I've said this before, like DeWitt, they have a lot of neighborhoods that have builders there because they have more room. Okemos is starting to run out. East Lansing has pretty much run out. So you're gonna start looking at some of these more spread out suburbs because that's where the builders have these sites. Okay, so my third segment is gonna be the custom and semi-custom homes. The custom and semi-custom. So before I get into the custom and semi-custom, like I'm gonna feature 2 of the builders. There are a lot of, I like to call them like one-off builders that they build maybe 1 or 2 homes a year and they're great. You can go to them, but I will say that those custom builders that build 1 or 2 homes, they are going to have a higher price than most because they're not building as much and they need to make a living being able to do this. The thing that's kind of nice about being with a builder that has several homes is that hopefully the price might not be as large because they have several homes that they are building. Just a thought there. So the first building company I want to feature is HDI Builders. So they are primarily based in the eastern part of Lansing. So in Hazlitt, they have a community known as Meadowbrook. They have a lot of homes that they built and they're building some newer home builds there with some contemporary styles in it. They've built in Champion Woods as well. They are known for having a little bit more of a contemporary style, like just huge windows throughout, like if you go in their homes. And a recent video I did, I walked through an HDI home and you'll be able to see what I mean. Like they're all about like bringing in the natural light and higher end features. So the cons are that you're really, with HDI, there's just not gonna be a lot of options to be able to use with them because again, they're gonna be the smallest company that I'm featuring through this. They have like some model homes that have been sitting for a while, which kind of tells me something that maybe the price point for home builds, for some of these new home builds, they're maxing out. So we'll see, but HDI, very respectable company within Greater Lansing. And then the next one I want to feature is Fedewa Homes. Fedewa Homes. And in one of my latest videos, again, I featured Fedewa and HDI in the same one. They have an office in DeWitt, but they have a neighborhood that they're building a lot of homes in the East Lansing / Hazlitt School area. And looking at those homes, they are beautiful. I mean, they are beautiful, solid homes with some very custom lighting throughout. The light fixtures are on point. So the thing with Fedewa that I notice is that even though they are very custom, I mean, again, they're not really offering any incentives, but because it's custom pricing, you're gonna have higher cost, you're gonna have a longer design phase, and there's gonna be fewer promos through that. And there have been a couple homes, like 2 or 3 homes that have taken a while to sell within the neighborhood that they're in. It's known as Sierra Ridge. They are beautiful, large, luxurious homes. Okay, but they're at over $700,000 for those. I think I told you Giguere is offering homes for $800,000 in Okemos. So in Hazlitt, you're at $700,000. We'll see how long it takes for some of their new builds to be able to sell, but quality builder if you are looking for more of that custom look and not just a cookie cutter floor plan. The last one I want to feature is Tom Motz Homes. They are built out of DeWitt. Tom Motz, he has a neighborhood that he built a lot of homes known as Crowner Farms in DeWitt. And he also built a condo association in St. John's. The reason I wanted to feature him is because there's really not a lot of condo associations throughout Greater Lansing that are building brand new condos. Tom Motz is one of them, and they do have him in St. John's. So he is primarily focused in the northern part of Greater Lansing. He's been here for 30 years locally, has a reputation for just more of custom craftsmanship. So as far as a con, he really isn't advertised around the area big time. I mean, you know him in a couple neighborhoods. So same thing with HDI, same thing with Fedewa. Tom Motz Homes, they're not gonna have a lot of incentives. And so maybe you were sitting here going, Troy, where are the deals? Like, where's the incentives right now? That's what's leading me into, okay, what's the state of new construction homes versus having an existing home? And what the market's telling me right now are, there are some homes that are being built in Eastbrook, or with Eastbrook in DeWitt, about 16 homes that were built this past year when I looked at the stats in Thomas Farms, a newer neighborhood. So lots of people are building there. I feel like that price point is decent. You could get something at around $450,000, $500,000, but there's a lot of home builders that are trying to ask for $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, and it's kind of like the tippy top of what people would want. And these are for 25, 26, 2,700 square foot homes. Some of them have finished basements, some of them don't. To even finish a basement, it's gonna be an additional $60 plus per square foot. If you wanna add a bathroom, a bedroom, downstairs. So what I'm seeing is that there still is quite a little bit of a gap between existing home sales and a new construction home build. When that gap shrinks, you're gonna start seeing more people just getting a new home build because they're like, why wouldn't I just get a new home build if this is how much I'm spending on an existing home sale? There still is large enough of a gap for people. And what I tell my new construction clients is this, is if you're looking to live here for 1 or 2 years, don't buy new construction. I have seen people buy new construction, they've had to leave after 1 or 2 years, and it was unexpected, they weren't expecting it, but they lost money because costs are so high. Some appraisers right now are having trouble trying to justify some of these huge home prices for new home builds. And so you're running into appraisal issues with some of these. I saw a new home build come back on the market because it didn't appraise correctly, and then they had to adjust it and they were able to figure it out. So if you're looking to only live here for 1 or 2 years, buying a new construction home, not the thing to do. If you're looking to live here for 5, 6, 7 years, I think that could be a good. I heard back in 2018, 2019, a lot of people saying, if you want to make a good investment, buy a new construction home. That's going to be your best investment. And yes, I feel like that was good advice in 2018, 2019, because so many people were buying new build construction homes in 2010, 2011, 2012, and it was really, really affordable to be able to buy a new construction home. You could buy one for $200,000 to $250,000, and then people went ahead and sold it back in 2018, 2019, 2020, made this hefty profit. Of course, you would tell people buy new construction, but right now that advice has changed because of COVID and the costs of builder costs going up as high as they have. You've got to keep in mind that because it's so high and because the existing home sales, the costs haven't caught up, then you're looking to sell something at top dollar, hoping to maybe make a profit, and more than likely you won't. And I've seen more and more people who have tried to sell a home within a year or two lose money at the end. It's not quite the investment that you would think it is. So definitely buying a new construction home if you're flexible with your timeline, if you're somebody who's extremely picky, you like what you like, and the only person who knows what you like is yourself, and you gotta get somebody to make it happen on like a blueprint or on a floor plan, then new construction definitely could be for you. And especially if you're looking to live here for at least 5 years or more. But if it's short-term plan, if you aren't as picky and you're open to being able to find a good home that might be 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 years old, go for the existing home sales. It's probably gonna be your best bet and your best investment. Again, I thank you so much for being able to watch this video. Hopefully it was informative for you to give you an idea of the different builders that are here. What I also tell people is with new construction homes, a lot of people make the assumption that if I just go directly to the builder, that's gonna be in my best interest. And actually you definitely wanna use a realtor like myself to be able to help you be able to talk with the builder. We could potentially negotiate. If there's new construction home that's listed and it's been sitting for a while, I might be able to help you negotiate with that. So reach out to me if you are interested in new construction or you are planning on making a move here. All my contact information again is in the description below. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give a thumbs up if you liked the video. And thanks again everybody for watching, and until next time, make it a great day. Take care.